morning, everybody. Nalika Lab, Spirit and Coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum. So fabulous. Okay. Let's get started with this show. Okay, gonna be super quick today. Got some meetings coming up. Um, and don't I just look fabulous? You guys have seen me in all sorts of ways, right? Okay, we started on the new agreement. Great conversation yesterday. Good morning. I don't know who that is. Say good morning so I know who just got on. Had a really, really impactful conversation yesterday. Ashish, I believe. Good morning, Belle. Ashish was very interactive, had a lot of questions, and it was amazing. It's always nice when people interact or engage or ask questions, sort of makes for a more um, juicy, kind of meaty discussion. Um, Not saying that, reading from the book and having a discussion about that's not, but it's nice to hear from you guys. So totally appreciate yesterday's conversation. We will continue on if there are no questions or people are don't have anything that they want to go over. So we're going to do always do your best. That is the fourth agreement. This is the final agreement, not the final chapter, but the final agreement. Always do your best. And I was telling you guys yesterday that I absolutely love this agreement because we sometimes are too hard on ourselves. In fact, we're harder on ourselves than anybody ever will be. And when we're hard on ourselves, what we do is we put ourselves down, or we sort of feel like we're not good enough, and we start having pity parties like, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't get this done. Why is it this? Why is it that? Always me, whatever. And we just continue to go on with our sad pants. Now, always do your best is good because we know that if we give our best and people are unappreciative of it, okay, and people don't, they're like, well, they're unappreciative of that. Well, it doesn't matter. Why? Because we know that we're doing our best and we can tell them, look, my 100 today may look like my 50 on my best day. However, I'm giving it everything I have today because I believe in giving it all I got. Always doing my best, leaving it out all on the field. So that doesn't mean that you have to, like sometimes our 100%, like today, am I 100% of what I would normally feel like? No, I'm on my menstrual cycle, I'm feeling tired a little bit, all of these things that are coming up for me, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to go out and do the best that I can today and be okay with that and say, you know what? I gave it all that I got. Maybe it's not when I'm 100%, when everything's going and I'm like, woo, and I'm at the peak and I can run 100 billion miles. Like that's like my 100 trillion% that I could give the day. And maybe the next day it doesn't look as beautiful, but at least I know that in my heart of hearts, in my personal intentions, in what I'm going to bring to the game is going to be everything that I have. And I'm going to do the best that I can. I love this one because it allows us to recognize that we can sometimes give our best and it not be the best like yesterday or the day before. And that tomorrow we know that it might be even better. And that's okay. But we're not okay with it. We think we have to run at 100 trillion% all the time. And that's not how life works. Our bodies are very fragile. Our bodies go through ebbs and flows, ups and downs. Life takes a toll on us. Energy gets sucked out of us. There's a lot of things that happen, the conditions, the environment, all of that stuff. Okay, good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Vanthus. We have Reggie on here. Hello. Are you selling wholesale coffee? I sell coffee, Life Boost coffee, and I can just put my link on here afterwards, Reggie, if you're interested in purchasing. So I will definitely do the post if you're interested. So yeah, eventually I want to have my own coffee line, which would be kind of cool, right? Spirit and coffee line. Good morning, Naveen. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the medals. Good morning, Rick. How are you? Okay, so always do your best. So critical, right? There's just one more agreement, but it's the one that allows others, the other three, to become deeply ingrained habits. The fourth agreement is about the action of the first three. Always do your best. Under any circumstances, always do your best. No more or no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the other, which is what I was just telling you. Next. So it's going to shift, right? It's going to shift from time to time. It's never going to be 100. And cheers to you, Reggie. I just feel like drinking my coffee because you mentioned it. Y'all don't have to drink coffee on here with me. Y'all could drink tea too, or water. Well, you can drink whatever you want. It's your life. Rachel, good morning. Okay. Um, Everything is alive and changing at all times. So your best will sometimes be high quality and at other times will not be so good. When you wake up refreshed and energized this morning, your best will be better than when you were tired at night. Your best will be different from when you're healthy opposed to sick, or sober as opposed to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you are feeling wonderful and happy or upset, angry, or jealous. Here's the deal. Our That's what I was saying. It goes through ebbs and flow. Life is not, we know that life is changing. We know one constant is for sure, that is change. Change in the way that we engage life always, because we are not the same person right now that we are 5 seconds from now. We are always changing. We are always shifting. Okay. Can I drink whiskey? That's, I would certainly say it's your choice. You can absolutely do that because you're probably old enough to make that conscious decision, Reggie. I, however, would say I wouldn't drink it all the time. It's very toxic for your body. I would say, Reggie, that if you love yourself, you would know that, and that you would perhaps maybe. I know that there are people take a shot a day, and that's it. They stop at that, and have lived very long lives. But I wouldn't say go all out on the whiskey, and especially don't drink and drive, please. You put other people's life in danger. That's a Natalie answer for you. Um, but yeah, you can definitely drink a try. I personally don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank in 10 years. Not even a sip. I think my only vice is my coffee. So there you go. Now you guys know that's my vice. Yay! Woo! Other than that, I eat healthy. I do all these healthy things. And, okay, whatever. It just goes on and on. It gives me a headache talking about it sometimes because I am a lot. Okay, so always do your best. Always do your best. Now, what I'm going to say is leave it out all on the field is another thing that I'd like to say. Okay. Yeah, you better pull over and get an Uber. um, and leaving it out on the field means that we give it all we got. Now, here's the deal. Here's what it sounds like in my head. You guys might find this in your own head, and maybe you don't have it. And if you do, it's this little drill sergeant. Okay, my sister calls it the drill sergeant. Good morning, Doreen. In my head, and I do have one of these. Now, maybe you guys do, maybe you don't. If you do, congratulations, or it could be your worst enemy too. But it really helps us to actually get on the field and give it 120 billion% of our energy, whatever we can do. Leaving it on the field. Good morning, Desart. Good morning, no, Good morning, Yang. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, PBG 59314KCMG Elemental P. And sorry. Good morning, Ellen. Oh, Zibolo. I don't know. Some of these names I'm butchering your guys' name up. I do apologize. I love you guys very much. Good morning, Noel. Okay, so leaving it out on the field, right? So think about you're in the game, right? And think about sports, right? We think about like football players and we see basketball players and we see soccer players and all these other players, right? When they get out on the field, they don't go give it half, well, sometimes they do give it half ass game. No, every game to them is critical because they know that every game leads up to the big game, right? And that they've got to make sure that they're on their P's and Q's and everything's good and that they're giving it all they have. Okay. And you see these athletes who just give it all they got. Now, typically, these athletes have coaches. And so it's easy for them to be told, like, come on, leave it on the field. It's easy to have these individual people in their ear telling them what to do, telling them to continue, telling them they're enough, telling them that they have the strength, the power, that it's just in their mind, all these things. And in fact, there's a movie, I don't remember the name. If you guys remember, please tell me what it is, where they blindfold the kid and he has to push, I don't know, it's like a sled, or I don't know what he's pushing, but I do know that he thinks he can't make it across the field. And the coach says, no, you can. Close your eyes. Let's go. And then he's there saying, you can do it. Keep going, keep going. And before you know it, he blindfolds him and he said, look, you did the whole field. And he's like, wow, I didn't even know I could do that. But my inner drill sergeant got me to squat 165 yesterday. Woo! Get it, girl? There you go. See, Doreen is understanding that inner drill sergeant. And I think a lot of us people who are at the gym are the ones who have drill sergeants in our head. And the inner drill sergeant just kind of puts you in check. So I highly, good morning, love dome. I highly encourage you to adopt an inner drill sergeant. Now, sometimes our drill sergeant, good morning, Judy, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Sometimes our inner drill sergeant can be a little too much, if you will, and make us go a little bit too crazy. That does happen. So the inner drill sergeant is something like, come on, you can do one more. Or, if you're like me, I'm on meal plans. You don't need to eat that. You know that you have a mission. You know that you have a greater purpose. And really what the drill sergeant is doing, or it's my higher self reminding me that I have higher goals and aspirations to reach to. So when you have your goal set, when you know what your goal is, and you just want to fire that energy off, that's what you do. You bring out the inner drill sergeant and you remember the greater purpose you're working on. You allow that inner drill sergeant to remind you to push through, to go through the fire, because that inner drill sergeant's going to help you hit the goal, hit the mark. Sometimes we can't pay for a coach. Sometimes we don't have money to have a coach in our ear telling us that we're enough, that we could do more, that we can push. Good morning, bestie. So we've got to sort of say, how do I create my own inner drill sergeant? Now, when we want to level up and we know that our drill sergeant isn't loud enough for us, that we need somebody out on the external to support us and guide us, then we go get a coach. Like for me, I got a trainer. My inner drill sergeant is a jerk. So my bestie says his inner drill sergeant's a jerk. I love it. Everybody's liking this inner drill sergeant thing because I do have one, and I think some of us do. Some of us may not. But I say figure out what that is, adopt one, and create one for yourself, okay? My sister's the one who defined it as an inner drill sergeant. She told me, you're very hard on yourself. I can't imagine what goes on in your head, and I bet you have like an inner drill sergeant saying, Natalie, get to work. And I was like, oh my God, I do. Good morning, Betty. And I'm like, I do have that inner drill sergeant in my head. She's so right. And she's like, and that inner drill sergeant sort of gets reflected on everybody else. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not reflecting on anybody else. People can do what they want to do. Unless they hire me to be their drill sergeant and whip them into shape, I'm going to tell them it's totally up to you what you want to do. Now, here's the deal. I want to elevate, and I want to elevate my workout, right? I want to become athletic. I want to make sure that I have enough strength so that I can train people eventually. So I got a drill sergeant. I got a trainer, and I needed a trainer that can outmatch my drill sergeant, that can push me harder than my own internal drill sergeant would push me. If I got somebody who was not leveling me up, then it wouldn't be worth my time because I can do that on my own. I push myself on my own. I need someone who can just push the needle just a little bit over the edge of what I do. Like one more, my one more is like somebody else's, I don't know, if they don't have their inner drill sergeant would be like, okay, I'm going to do 3. And me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 7. And then I do 7. And I push myself. And that 6th one when it comes to the 7, I'll say, okay, you can do this. That's what I hear in my head, right? I have this internal coach that says, just do it. Go for it. One more. You can do this, right? And then I just go roar and I push. And why? Because I know that there's a greater goal. Why? Because my body, my vessel means a lot. It's my temple. I want to take care of it. I want to nurture it. I want to make sure that it's healthy and strong. And so that's why I push. Now, the drill sergeant, my coach, would say, nah, guess what? You're going to do 9. And I'd be like, that's where I'd be like, oh, well, they did 3 and I did 7. Why do I got to do 9? I pushed myself past 6. But the other, like a trainer would say, okay, 2 more, you know, you can do it. And if I can only do 1 more, they're going to stop and say, okay, next time you're doing 9. That kind of thing. So adopt an inner drill sergeant. Like Doreen, she's able to do 165 pounds on her squats. That's beast mode, right? We call that beast mode. To adopt it now, not just for working out, right? That's not what I'm just talking about. I'm talking about in your life, in your goals. Leave it out all on the field. Do everything that it takes, anything and everything to get to the goal that you're trying to accomplish. That means being on fire about it. That means putting your energy into it. And sometimes your energy that you're putting into it may not be as good as the day before, but you know that you're giving it everything you have today, and that's all that matters. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that always do your best means that. It doesn't mean that you're going to always look on point. You're not always going to lift. One day you're like at 165 pounds, and then maybe you're going through menstruation. This is for the women. And you don't feel good that day, and maybe you can only do 150. But you know that that's your max, and you know that's giving it your best. Don't beat yourself up because you can't do 165. That's okay. You know that your 150 is your 100% that day. You know that you're giving it everything you have. And that's what always do your best is about. My son's friends would call me Sergeant Salas. That's funny. Yeah, so I think all of us on here, especially the ones that are committed to coming on Spirit and Coffee. Good morning, Manat Manjat. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I do apologize if I butchered that. Good morning, Malika. Good morning, oh no, Kathy. Good morning, Jam. But yes, it's funny because all of us have the ones that show up here. I know you guys are drill sergeant. You're committed. Once you say you're doing something, you do it. You know, you follow through. You show up all the time. That's because you're a reflection of me, and I am a reflection of you. That's the reality right now. Is that we are totally committed, 100%. When we say we're in, and that's that, right? There's no wavering or maybes or, oh, maybe next time. No, it's like, this is what I'm up to. This is what I'm doing. I'm committed. I'm going to do this over and over and over and over again until I find the success that I'm looking for, which I think it's a journey. I don't know if we ever find success, but we expand and grow. Just kind of like Spirit and Coffee. I've expanded and I've grown it. Why? Because I feel like it's ready for the next phase of evolution. It's ready to change and transform. And I told you guys it wouldn't stay the same forever. And it's not going to, because that's life. But I bring the best that I can every day. And sometimes that means being in the hospital with an IV. You guys have seen that happen. Or waking up at a bed and going, oh my God, I can't. But I committed to doing this because that is my life. That is what I choose to do. This is my calling. So I'm going to do it over and over at the airport. It may not look its best, but I'm here for you, right? It's not about looking its best. It's about me giving the best to you guys. What I can in that day, that moment, I'm going to give what I can. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what am I even talking about? But there's days I'm like, on point. So there you go. That's the reality. Raw and real. This is totally live video. You want to know about life? This is live. This is never rehearsed, ever. I just get on here and babble. Okay. But for the benefit of you, hopefully you guys get something out of it. That's really my hope. So always do your best, okay? So today, so I'm gonna get going, but today is about you guys doing your best, remembering that you always do your best. Sometimes your best is a little less than it was yesterday, might be a little bit more. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just do what you can, do your best for that day. Stay focused on the goal. Adopt an inner drill sergeant if you don't have one to help you push through those moments, okay? So there you go. So I Captain, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastical day. It is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. It is the end of some people's week. My weeks never end. I don't ever know what day it is. I'm working around the clock all day, every day. So if I say the wrong day, I apologize. But I know today's Thursday and I know tomorrow's Friday. So have a terrific Thursday. And we will continue on with always do your best. I really love this agreement. I think it allows us to at least take a time out and honor ourselves as well, which is something drill sergeant people don't do. So there's two sides to it. Drill sergeant, relax. Drill sergeant, relax. Drill sergeant, relax. Okay. So there you go. So have a great day, and I will be seeing y'all tomorrow. Love you. Bye.